help just go right into this, and I think I want to distinguish this question. I want to separate it and say, first, I think we need to decide: are we saying to believe in God or to believe that? It's the difference between a belief in and a belief that. All right, let me explain this with a story from the Bible. In John chapter 3, I believe it says this: there was a man of the Pharisees named Nicodemus. Everybody say Nicodemus. All right, he was a ruler of the Jews, and I can't read the whole thing. There we go. This man came to Jesus by night and said to him, here's what he said: Rabbi, which just means teacher. He looks at the teacher and he says, hey, Jesus, we know that you are a teacher that comes from God. For no one can do these signs that you do unless God is with him. So here's what he says. What did he say? He said, we know what? We know that you are a teacher. Here's Chase's translation of what Nicodemus is trying to say, so you get the whole picture. Here's what he says. Nicodemus is a man that had been investigating Jesus, trying to figure out if he was who he said he was. And we learned that Jesus said he was the Son of God, that he is the only way to get to heaven, that Jesus said that if you that he was going to die and 3 days later rise again. Jesus made a lot of pretty crazy claims. Okay, and so Nicodemus is trying to find out, is this real? Is Jesus who he says he is? And he says, hey, Jesus, we get it. We know that you're from God. We believe that you can do some miraculous things. We believe that you are real and you are who you say you are. But Jesus responds just shortly after a little bit differently. He doesn't say, oh, that's great. I'm so thankful that you guys all believe that I'm a good teacher and that I'm from God. Jesus says this isn't good enough. Jesus tells Nicodemus that he must be born again and he needs to believe in Jesus. So here's what he says next. This is Jesus' response. Whoever believes in him, Jesus is talking about himself here, believes in him may have eternal life. For God so loved the world that he gave his only begotten Son, or gave his only Son, that whoever believes what? In him should not perish but have eternal life. It keeps going on in the same passage and says, whoever believes what? In is not condemned, but whoever does not believe is condemned already, because he has not believed in the name of the only Son of God. And there's a difference between just believing that Jesus is real, or believing that God is real, and believing in Jesus. And every one of us at some point in our investigation of Christianity, in our investigation of Jesus, which I think everyone needs to investigate for themselves. Don't just believe something because your parents raised you to believe it. Don't just believe something because I stand up here and tell you that it's true. Don't just believe something because someone else tells you. And that goes for your faith or anything you learn in school. Don't just believe it because someone said it. But I encourage you to investigate yourself, especially something that has to do with this right here, that has to do with your eternal salvation or where you're going to spend eternity. And if you believe right now that you're just going to die and go into the ground and that's it, that's a possibility. But there's also a possibility, according to what this book says, that you're going to die and you're going to spend eternity. That means forever and ever and ever and ever and ever somewhere, either in heaven or in hell. And if that's a possibility as well, I think it's important and it's worth you guys taking the time to think and to investigate and to look into it for yourself.